All right, guys. What the hell is going on with this coronavirus? What is the coronavirus? It's killing like thousands of people. It's spread to 80,000 plus people, and now it's gone to all the continents in the world except Antarctica. And people feel like it's a pandemic. This video is all about, will it affect Magic the Gathering as an economy? How will it affect it? And what do we do?
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.
All right, so before I even start, I want to be very clear. I am not a doctor. If you want to talk to a doctor or you want to talk to a specialist about the coronavirus, please speak to a specialist or go online and learn more about it. But the information online is all over the place. The coronavirus, for those of you who do not know what it is basically affecting the world economy and the World Health Organization. It basically is a virus that is spread. They feel they've locked this part down where if you breathe or are within a certain type of vicinity, there's like nasal droplets or something that could obviously get into someone's nasal cavity, and then basically they contract it. And so that produces a very dangerous thing because it could easily be transmitted. You don't even know, some people don't even show symptoms of the virus, and they pretty much, can give it off. So that's a big issue. There have been, I think, over 2,000 something people died so far. Mostly, they're people that are not of good condition already, but there are people that are healthy that have passed away also. So it's a huge epidemic, and people say it's a pandemic. And a pandemic is raised to a global, multi-country catastrophe, from a medical sense. So this video is not about the medical side. It's more about the actual economy of Magic. I found it to be very interesting because today, for example, the stock market just tanked 1,100 points. Again, I think it's like a 3-day so far tanking, and it's definitely in correction territory. And we are at a huge, kind of standstill of the economy is going to be slowing. It's almost a guarantee in the sense that all the corporations are basically stating that the economy, the guidance for their entire year is already going to be off. In fact, some people say that, economists say that the United States will probably basically be flat the entire year for any type of growth. That's very troubling because obviously the main hub, the source of all the issue is in China. And China obviously has billions of people, I think billions, and hundreds of millions, I think, people there are already being locked down in just, it basically all business gets shut down this way or slows down dramatically. Another thing that's really affected is the travel. I read that certain airlines are not going to certain places now, and they're not going to allow any type of flights because there's no demand, and also because of the risk. People are canceling events. I mean, the Olympics is going to be happening in August, I think, in Japan. And Japan's already in lockdown mode. I believe school is, I think, not in session anymore. It's just tons of things going on. So go to any of the news outlets, CNN, Fox News, whatever the hell you want. There's so much information about it. But it brings to the point, like, it makes me really worried in the sense that how does that affect, let's start with the older cards. And then I'll do another part about the newer cards because it kind of there's kind of a difference. So for the older Magic cards, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to make a massive change unless you see jobs affected. And I say that because it reminds me a lot of like, a kind of a recession starter. Like people are claiming that this is the beginning of the recession that we've been all waiting for. And that very well may be true, because when you have we have such slowdown in growth, slowdown in profits, slowdown in people purchasing items. China is such a big economy to purchase items. Then the consumers there, it's almost like what's going to happen. Eventually, corporations and companies are going to have to lay off because they're not making enough profits. This layoff is actually going to possibly spark even a further financial crash, in my opinion. I don't even think it's an opinion. I think it's an obvious thing. If there's going to be layoffs, if people lose their jobs, they're not going to be able to pay for rent. They're not going to be able to pay for their house. They're not going to be paying for their car payment. Defaults will happen, and all this low interest rate, everybody's borrowing money, stuff like that, type of thing. It's going to snowball. And so that could be a trigger point big time. And that could affect Magic cards in general, like any type of loss of job loss, stuff type of that, any type of losing of income. It affects people. People are probably going to ask, well, Dan, don't people who buy these kind of cards, aren't they already rich? No, that's not true. A lot of people in this category of buying old school Magic, sure, they probably have a decent career, but they also have families, and they have, family is first. Their Magic cards will not be first. Trust me. If some people are single income, where basically all their income is from that one person, it affects their livelihood, right? So they're going to pay the car payment, the house payment, all that stuff first. They're not going to give a crap about Magic cards. And therefore, I see older cards especially affected by this coronavirus thing. I also have a thought process that comes to mind that if for some reason the coronavirus gets, like, let's say the entire year is a shutdown year where it gets worse and worse. And we're talking like, I think there was a case in California where someone got the virus and they didn't even know where it came from. I mean, that's terrible, terrible news. So it's almost like they don't even know, it's not like a cruise ship that had people quarantined, right? It's basically in a community. And that produces even a more catastrophic potential effect, because if it happens in different communities, it's being transmitted, it could potentially destroy, it can snowball very fast, thus affecting the economy and the goods purchase, people's livelihoods, and eventually their jobs. All right, so I talked a little bit about the older cards and how it affected because of jobs. Let's talk about the newer Magic cards and the economy, how it would affect with the coronavirus. So I thought about this, and I do agree that if the coronavirus actually affected the jobs and the economy, there would be a slowdown somewhat in newer Magic stuff, newer Magic product buying and stuff. But I have to say that I don't think it's really going to affect it much for the modern stuff. And here's why. Let me explain. Obviously, people with they'll lose their, let's say you're losing your job. Let's say typical Magic buyers in the newer products tend to gonna be, younger generation, maybe starting your job type of thing, or you have parents and stuff like that. But something I think what's going for it is that the price point's lower. And another thing I noticed is that when it comes to hard times, like even during the recession, the Great Recession back in 2007, 2008, people still were drinking alcohol and still, still doing things that were entertainment value, right? And I consider gaming as like an entertainment expense that pretty much is like kind of a way to just enjoy life. I don't foresee people, ending their, Magic Arena, their MTG Arena accounts. And I would say, though, people might not travel to like a Magic Fest because of the fact that there's obviously a global issue. And that actually brings a point that I think Magic Fest in general, especially Asia, are not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. If they have a Hong Kong one or if they have a Shanghai, no way. I mean, they might have one in Tokyo. No, probably not, because this whole thing is not worth the risk. Hasbro and people at CFB events, it's not worth the risk of contracting this virus. So I see Magic Fest having a really hard time this year. I think turnout's going to be really low this year because of what's going on in general, even in the United States. So it's going to be a hard-hitting thing for that side on the modern side, the newer side. But I would say, though, people still will want to game and buy products. Don't think that it's going to grow a lot, but I think there's going to be a steady wave of people buying just because, hey, when bad times, you still want to play your games, and that happens. So, people will probably, like, in the comments, put in the comments, like, all right, guys, sorry about that. My camera overheated. All right, so put in the comments below if you guys agree on my assessment of this financial potential impact on Magic. I kind of feel like, I kind of feel like there's going to be mixed signals, mixed sides, because I also don't know if anybody's even talking about this, because it's troubling, because if something does happen, and I will say that if there is like a huge recession, the older cards' impact would be tremendous. Absolutely flippin' tremendous. Because older cards are, they're higher value. They're you can sell them and then basically have enough money to pay, have a mortgage payment, whatever. So, all right, guys. All right, sorry about that. I had to move the area because obviously it's being, the direct sun is making the camera hot. All right, so this should work. So like I was saying, put in the comments below if you agree or disagree. I feel like this is a discussion that a lot of people probably may or may not talk about. And I think it's worth talking about because of the fact that, I was talking to some other people about it, and it can greatly impact the way we look at this, especially the older cards. I think reserveless cards also could be affected big time because, again, you're holding assets that really are not as important as your house payment, food on the table, your child's, medical, whatever, right? You don't need Magic cards, especially you don't need 1,000 stone calendars. For the love of God, who cares about those? So you're going to start picking and choosing certain assets. I also think that you'll probably see like revised dual lands go down. Here's my prediction. If there was something like this, I see revised dual lands going down fast. Here's why. Because revised dual lands actually, while you can play with them and stuff, they're worth a decent amount of money where you can pay a payment for something or whatever. And they're also easily, everybody wants them, they're actively traded and sold. But they'll go down in value because the supply will be so much of it if there is a massive, mass exodus because of this coronavirus thing. Another thing I think will happen is a lot of like the altered stuff, some of the sign cards, the pimp items, the things that really are not that important in terms of a core collection. Those will probably be sold off and just for whatever you can get. I also think like cards that are really special, like alpha, beta, right? Those cards would even be considered to be sold because of the fact that you need the money, and their dollar amounts on those could help pay for bills and offset, let's say, a job loss. I mean, it could very well happen. So anyway, it could, any type of like situation that could happen, any kind of economic recession. I think this kind of plays well. Now, the question is the coronavirus really going to do anything? And a lot of people, experts are, I'm not an expert, I'm medical, but a lot of experts say that it has the potential to become a pandemic. A lot of people think it is a pandemic and they're already preparing it. I think like Australia's government's already preparing for something like that. So yes, I think that there is a risk, a huge risk. Obviously, with the stock market reacting the way it is, there's going to be a global slowdown, and it can potentially affect people's jobs, livelihoods, and their work. And I really feel like you have to prepare ahead of time here. This might be an opportunity, though, for buying. For those of you who have money on the sidelines and have been like asking me, well, Dan, it's too high. The market's too high. When am I going to buy? Well, get your money ready, because it could be an opportunity to not only buy some stocks, maybe some real estate, and also some older Magic cards if the prices go down. And I'm telling you, man, they'll shoot right back up if you get them at a cheaper price. Always try to search for deals during this time. It's a great opportunity. Look, I would never want anybody to lose their jobs, but these are opportunities that you don't want to miss. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Put in the comments below what you think. We'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, it's me, Daniel, with VintageMagic.com. I'm here to share with you more about our deck and set collector fulfillment service. The deck fulfillment service caters to the player. And what that basically means is if you are a player looking to fulfill your old school Magic deck, certain Power 9 or key pieces in your Vintage deck, or dual lands in your Legacy deck, we have the inventory and the resources to help you fulfill your needs. Next, we have the set collector fulfillment service. This really caters more towards the collector. Oftentimes I've been asked, hey Dan, can you help me find this specific graded card for this set? Or Dan, can you find me these 20 cards left in my beta set? It doesn't matter what you're looking for, even if it's like every single Sarah Angel possible out there, I can help you out. My resources and extensive network in Magic the Gathering, I was able to help thousands of clients all over the world fulfill their needs. I've made it my mission at VintageMagic.com to be your one-stop shop for all your collector needs. For any significant item or collection, we're able to travel anywhere in the world to meet you. The reason why my clients love this service is because it saves you time. What happens is collectors and players often search all over online or at vendors, and they never find exactly what they're looking for. By going to us, we are the only one-stop shop who can help you with your needs. Using our service gets you exactly what you want and saves you time and money.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit VintageMagic.com.